This is Josh MacEwen here with Dufferin News, and today we're here to talk about rural internet. More specifically, rural internet in Mono. Now, if you haven't heard of Mono Wireless yet, they are a local startup that is trying to provide internet to Mono. More specifically, the areas that do not have access to fiber and really good quality internet. This is great because, these are people that do not have a lot of options, and it's awesome to see someone from our community actually stepping up and trying to provide an actual solution. So I had the opportunities to speak with Mitch Singh and Jackie Burnham of Mono Wireless to learn more about what they're up to and how it's going so far. So I hope you enjoy this, and thank you to Mitch and Jackie for their time, and you, the audience, for listening. And I hope you enjoy this segment of Dufferin News. Thanks.
Hi, Josh.
Hey, Josh. How are you?
Great, thank you. How about yourself?
Busy day. But everything's great so far.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear it. Well, I won't use up too much of your time with questions that I already know the answers to then. But thank you so much for your time. I do appreciate it. So I think that the startup cost for customers is $300 at most, right? Am I correct in that?
That is correct. So, we've been, just as an incentive to sign up our first few clients, what we did was on basic installs, or for example, if the install is really straightforward, side of the house, clear line of sight, go straight inside the house to basement or to a router. We've been doing some free installs to start up, and we're giving discounts where it's possible, because I don't want to say $300 for every person to sign up as an installation cost, just because that might be a deterrent in some cases. Yeah.
Only if they require additional equipment.
Correct. So for example, one house that we did, really simple, right in front of the tower, that one was a quick and easy install, versus one where we had to go to a custom home, and the homeowner was very particular of where the radio needs to be placed and how to run the cabling in specific channels to hide the wiring. So that one was a $300 install, because we had to do everything nice, neat, and clean, and just tuck the wires in wherever possible. And yeah, that's basically it.
Is there a fixed term contract?
So it's not a contract per se. It's more like an agreement. So we go month by month. So and our aim is to provide the best possible service. Keeps us on our toes as well to ensure that customer service is kept high, right? I'm not a fan of locking a client in for a set amount of time, like let's say 12 months, and then if there's any issues or whatnot. Being the CEO of FlexTech, customer service is a top one in our books, basically.
So that's why we don't have a contract.
Yeah.
It's more like an agreement. Everyone so far is really happy with the service, but if in instance they weren't, then they're not tied to it.
It's great that there's freedom in mobility.
And I can give you one particular example, because when I first moved to Mono, I actually signed up with the satellite provider, and it's a 12-month contract. I just wanted to play devil's advocate and try it out, because, the marketing is very catchy. And 2 months later, I'm still trying to cancel after I have my solution up and running. Put it that way.
Wow, I've heard it's pretty bad.
That's one of the reasons that Mitch decided he really needed to do something about it, was the poor internet and the high cost of it.
For some of our clients, we're close to 1 terabyte of transfer data so far. And I tell them, it's unlimited. Like, you're not restricted to a set amount, like 300 gigs every month or whatnot. Some of our clients, they have kids, they play games, they stream. When I say stream, like they go on Twitch and stream the gameplay live. Things were not readily available with any other connection, or the cost was really high. One of my clients canceled on the day that we installed our internet. They had 3 Rogers hotspots, and they basically canceled them all just because they were very confident in the solution, and I think they were at the point where, $300, $400, $500 monthly bills was very expensive.
Yeah, no doubt. Sorry, I just want to confirm that I got that correctly, that there's been customers that have done a terabyte a month?
There's one.
Yeah?
One in particular. The rest are, I would say on a weekly basis, it's anything like 100 to 200 on average gigs.
Wow.
So, that alone is itself, and there's no additional cost for bandwidth, like no restrictions at all. It's unlimited.
That's great to hear, because I mean, yeah, that would definitely be costly.
Well, the thing is, you give them higher speeds, but then you reach your cap faster.
Yeah.
And that's the whole deal with the hotspots. The hotspots, gives you access to the 100 down, 20 up, or whatever it is, but you're only limited to the 100 gigs every month. 100 gigs, we're seeing that easily within a week. And our customers connect up to view their cameras at home. For security, they connect to adjust temperature using the Nest thermostats, the Ring doorbells, all that sort of stuff.
Like, that's great. They're not losing out on anything. That's helping.
No, not at all. It's just like being in the city. I mean, I do know, and everybody would know, the price is a little bit higher, but I look at it as the cost of doing business as well, and considering we are a startup and providing the internet, I mentioned to all the clients, over time, the speeds will get greater as well, just as we build out our infrastructure. And at some point in the future, I will want to look at running fiber as well. So these are all things that, we have future plans as well, and talking with the town of Mono as well.
Actually, Mitch and myself met with them in February, and then COVID happened, and now we've heard talk of like a second spike. So we want to get as many people connected so that if there is another lockdown, which we don't know when that will be, we want to be prepared so children can do things at home like online education. Apparently, there was an announcement in June, I think the third week of June, that online learning will continue to be part of the boards of education throughout Ontario. So it'll be important for Mono residents to have a wireless solution that children can do that, and that workers continue to work remotely from home with a solution that allows that and won't cut them off.
That's good to hear. I'm glad. But I mean, so the local governments, that they've been relatively supportive of what you guys have been doing, at least from what I understand.
Well, we've had some feedback. The Member of Parliament, Hal Seaback, so he was very helpful. He sent some links on how we can look at achieving obtaining aid from the provincial government or the federal government, whatever grants they have. To be honest with you, right now it's a little bit challenging going through all the documents to get that. It's almost like a project work for a week or two, and I wanted to focus on getting something set up a little bit faster. So I focused most of my effort on getting the solution up and running and start signing up customers. So at least this way I can start seeing somewhat of an immediate payback on my investment. And it is up and running. It is working really well. So the next step is to look at the different avenues as to, what kind of grants are available so that we can utilize to expand a little bit more rapidly. Because if you looked at the map on the website, I mean, we can only go so far as line of sight, and then there's other challenges, topography. Now it's summer with all the leaves in full force. It's a whole different line of sight than it was in the winter. So, and having towers, my aim is not to, put up a bunch of towers and just make sure everybody gets internet. And this is part of the talks with the town of Mono as well, is that we want to keep the landscape relatively, free of towers and co-locate wherever we can possibly, and just have that service available in the far-reaching areas. Just right now, we have to think about and plan how we're gonna address these challenges, because it's not something you can just say, hey, you want 100 towers at 100 feet each, and we're going to upfront all that money to put all the towers down, because you got to think about a different aspect. Cost is a huge one, and then the second one being just the aesthetics of it. And then we will have some pushbacks to towers being in certain locations. That's a given. But at the same time, I think just having reliable and fast internet access, that should be, or I believe it should be some sort of priority, because it helps keep the residents connected.
Exactly. I mean, I have heard some openness to people being more receptive to allowing more towers and things, but like you said, it's important to maintain the aesthetics as well, but it does seem like people are more open to it now.
Yeah, and you know what? True proper research, I mean, it can be done. It can be done properly and selectively as well, so that we can maximize each tower that you will need to put up, rather than, just littering the landscape with towers.
I think one of the reasons the biggest reason that this was expedited is no one ever predicted the pandemic. It's just thrown businesses and children, just everyone. Our lives have changed so much, and it's a time that people need wireless. If we do ever go into a lockdown, or not even a lockdown, but if things are cut back again, then that will give residents the opportunity to use social media, to do Zoom calls, to do streaming, to watch movies with their kids, like whatever they want. Hopefully that doesn't happen again, but just in case.
Exactly. I mean, we want to be prepared no matter what. And we want people to enjoy the good things. Either way, we want people to enjoy the benefits of connectivity anyways.
Well, believe it or not, there's a part of me that always kind of wanted to give back to the community, and I think this is part of a goal of mine to, this is my way of giving back. I mean, it's not exactly giving back because I got to cover my costs, but in a way, I'm bringing internet access to places that doesn't have it reliably.
Exactly. And I mean, when you see the solutions that are being rolled out right now, I mean, I know there's always the promise of 5G, but I mean, we've been lucky enough to be in an area, I quote unquote lucky, for Bell's project for wireless home internet. But at the same time, your service beats them. So.
Well, there's a few things there. And I mean, with a smaller company such as us, you kind of have better customer service, I believe. You kind of have the ability to have higher speeds as well, because we're not really playing that high numbers game and high profit at this point, at least not at this point, because we want to be able to provide a service and stick to our guns. So if we say you're going to get 25-15 on one of our plans, or 50 down and 20 up, we want to make sure that's the kind of service we're providing, and residents are happy with that. I mean, I'm not going to hit Bell or anybody. It's just, in certain situations it works really well from the feedback that we've gotten, and in certain situations it's just crowded. So there's a few subdivisions that are, outside of the service areas, but they're using the wireless solution from the competitor, and they're just complaining, at peak times when everyone's home, the service, they don't get even half of what they pay for. I mean, that's something I set out to change, because it's similar technology, but it's not exactly the same, but it's very similar. And if we can do it, why can't the big guys take notice and be able to do the same, just to make residents happy? I understand the whole business side of it, but at the same time, if you're selling a service, if you're selling up to a certain bandwidth, I mean, you should be able to get at least very close to it, not half of it or a quarter of it, and that's where the demand came. So what I'm trying to get at is that more competition in the space just benefits us all as residents.
And one of the things that's very important to him is hiring local, and Mitch has already subcontracted with 3 local companies. Like, he wants to work in the area, and as we grow, hopefully hiring people within the area. And that's important to us, because Mitch lives in Mono, I live in Orangeville, so we're in that area, so we prefer to get more employees from that area as we grow.
Yeah, in the case that, you have to do on-site support or whatnot, or even an install, right? It just makes more sense just to have hire locally. It just, you get a feel. And you keep the business local as well. I'm just a huge advocate for that.
That's great.
It may not be hundreds of jobs, but it is something.
It is. I mean, again, it's a local employer, someone that actually has a real investment in the community. So I mean, that matters. So I'm glad to hear that. That's great. Again, just personally, I'm rooting for you guys. again, a local solution is just great to see. Never mind just more competition in the space in general.
So that was our interview with Jackie Burnham and Mitch Singh of Mono Wireless. And if you'd like to learn more about what they're up to, check out their website, monowireless.ca, or their Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you enjoyed this segment of Dufferin News. Until next time, have a great one.